In January 2021, Haris Mehmood, a member of SEALA 6, went blind. Fortunately, only for 2 days, following a complex surgery for glaucoma. But the experience of losing his sight, even temporarily, so affected Haris that he wrote a short essay about how it changed his thinking about his life. When Haris circulated his essay among SEALA members, it became one of the most read and commented upon pieces shared within the SEALA community. As Haris wrote, "It is sometimes good to see the world from the eyes of less privileged people. This world would be a much better place if all of us did so once in a while." Haris Mehmood is the lead facilitator in wilderness-based trainings and the co-founder and member ex-com at Youth Impact. I'm Ayesha Shaukatullah, and with Adam Albion, we talked with Haris about blindness, recovery, and how his vision of himself and the world has changed. So, Haris, tell us briefly of your current struggles and challenges dealing with glaucoma and the blindness episode that you faced in this last 1 month.
Yeah, well, right after SEALA 6 in March 2019, I started noticing things happening to my eye. And my right eye started going black from inside, like peripheral vision. I went to the doctor and he said that you have a glaucoma. But medicines didn't do any good. And then he had to go with a laser surgery. Glaucoma is a condition of eyes where your internal ocular pressure increases and then it affects the optic nerve. And the blindness caused by glaucoma is irreversible. I had an idea of glaucoma because it runs in the family. My grandfather had the condition, my elder sister has a condition. Then I had to go to a surgery in my right eye. And there was a complication in that surgery. It's called TRAB. And then I had to go to another surgery, then another surgery right after that.
You had three surgeries for this.
Three surgeries in 2019. As a result, my cornea got disturbed. It was almost destroyed. I had to get a cornea transplant in my right eye. Around 30 days back, I started noticing things happening in my left eye, the only eye I can see with now. I decided to find the best doctor I could because I cannot afford to have the same things with my left eye, only seeing eye. This doctor, Dr. Mehnasha, she came and highly recommended for glaucoma patients. I had to go to a surgery. The surgery is called Ahmed's glaucoma valve, AGV, and they have implanted a valve here in my eye. It controls the pressure. The things I wrote about was the 2 days when I was completely blind because I cannot see from my right eye and my left eye. The only seeing I was patched, and it was an experience I think I should share with people. The challenge with glaucoma is it's a painless disease, and your eyesight doesn't deteriorate. You don't know you have glaucoma until you get it checked for glaucoma. I have no pain. So pain, I think pain is a blessing. If you see it that way, that if you have pain, it means you have a problem. But if you have a problem and you don't have pain, you don't go for a cure. Glaucoma and all the other diseases which are painless are more challenging.
In that sense, pain is an alert for the body.
Yeah, it's an alert and it's a blessing that you're being alerted that you have a problem.
When you woke up and you couldn't see, was this something that you were expecting?
I knew it's going to happen, and I was hoping and praying that I stay positive, and thank God I did.
You expected to wake up sightless, knowing that one eye would be covered, and yet it was a great shock to you. So what did it feel like to wake up after the operation?
Well, I had to go to the restroom. It was a challenge. You don't know whether the toilet bowl's lid is down or up. I had to change to my regular clothes from the hospital clothes. I had to ask for help even to put my shirt on.
What was going through your mind in the first few hours when you were grappling with this new reality?
Well, the first thing I was thinking about is that I need a lot of help and I need to ask for help. And what will happen if it was all permanent? I was thinking about my kids also. What would they think? Because they're very young. My eldest one is 8 years old only, and my youngest one is 3 years old. So I was thinking about them also. So there were a lot of things going through my mind in those hours.
So now when you look back, what took you through it? What strengths about yourself that you knew you had, and those that surfaced?
I knew I had people around me, people who are very caring, who are loving, who would take me through this all, and they did. It was a big strength and it was a big relief that I had such a family, such friends, such colleagues around me who could take me through all of this. And even now, when I see all of it, and if I think that if it happens again, I'm relieved and I thank God that I have such people around me. One thing that I realized about myself that is that I was calm. I didn't know I could be such calm in such uh, stress. And I knew there are things in life I can change, and there are things in life I cannot change. So I have to ask for God's help and ask for other people's help in the things I cannot change. And I have to work towards things I can change. And as I wrote in my Serenity Prayer, I asked God to give me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and give me courage to things I can change, and give me wisdom to differentiate between these two things. A lot of things have helped me to become that kind of a person. SEALA is one of them. My own trainings and the connection with nature is one of them. And that's what I realized.
You know, one thing about leadership, it's part of the SEALA ideology as well, is that to be a good leader, you have to look into yourself, you have to accept your limitations, you have to think about your vulnerabilities. It's something that some people find in nature when they realize how small they are compared to all of creation and so on, how small, how weak, how vulnerable we really are. We always say it, but when faced with a position like yours, when you really were face to face with ultimate vulnerability, how well do you think you coped?
I think I was I was good at it. I was calm, not only outside, inside. I was calm. I was thinking about things I needed to change. I was thinking about my blessings. I was thinking about the shortcomings I had, but I was calm inside.
Haris, when you look back upon this whole thing and you know that your grandfather had glaucoma and your sister also has a problem with her sight, what would you have done differently if you could have done it?
I could have gone to a better doctor first time 2 years back. It's very difficult to find a good doctor, a good consultant, uh, and I found it after my right eye went blind. So I should have found a better doctor. I should have found a better cure. I should have connected with people going through this kind of disease. And for example, I wrote this piece, and within 2 days, 4 people contacted me with the same problem, and they asked my help. I should have been open about it long before I was, so that people could contact me, people could give me advice, or I could give them advice. So there is a lack of awareness in Pakistan about glaucoma and this kind of diseases.
Well, the piece that you wrote and distributed through our SEALA network has obviously had a lot of resonance. It's got lots of replies, and you've touched a nerve. It's not only about the issue of glaucoma, it's not only about your private experience with it, but obviously there's something else that has really motivated people in our network to think hard about your experience and what it means for them. Perhaps it's about their inner resources. You've communicated something very special. Why did you write it? What welled up inside you after this physical experience that gave you the mental strength to do this?
I always thought that I'm not very good at writing. I still don't think that I'm good at writing. I called a friend and I said to him that I'm thinking all of this and should I write it? He said, you should write about it. And I wrote it and I sent it to 2 friends. And both of them encouraged me and said, you don't need to change anything in this article. So you just need to share this piece with all of the people. Why I wrote it? Because I think people need to know that we take things for granted. Uh, People who have handicap have problems still in this world. This world is not still inclusive enough. This world has to change a lot for people who are less privileged, who have different kind of handicaps, and especially for blind people.
When you realize now what it feels like, in a sense, to be disabled, you had the experience of blindness. Do your thoughts extend to other kinds of handicaps that people face in the world? And are they mainly physical that you were thinking of, or only physical?
Well, I went through a physical handicap, so it was mainly physical. But after your question, like I'm thinking that it should be other kind of handicaps also. If all of us could see the world from less privileged people's eye, the world would be a much better place to live. This less privileged world means physical handicaps, people with less resources, people living in poorer areas of the world, people who don't have access to all of the blessings we have in our lives. If we could walk a mile in their shoes, the world could be a very, very good place.
Haris, earlier you mentioned in our previous conversation, you said that change starts with pain.
Yeah.
These are all cliched statements that we've heard over and over again, but what exactly does this one statement mean to you?
This thought started with thinking about glaucoma, because glaucoma is called the sneak thief of the sight. It's painless, your eyesight is perfect, and suddenly you start going blind. So I was thinking, and I was talking to some friends about the blessing the pain is. The conversation took another turn, and we started talking about and thinking about the change pain starts. Because in Pakistan, we can see, and in other parts of the world also, that when there's no pain, people are doing terrible things. Societies need to change. If people don't feel that pain, they don't change. When we have pain, that at least we know that there are things we need to change, there are things which need to be cured.
I'm more interested in the change that you feel that it brought about in you, in your life, in your outlook on life, in your approach to life.
I was not always aware of the importance of good people in my life. I need to be thankful, and I need to check my priorities regularly. And the other thing is, people who are mission driven, I consider myself to be one of them. People on mission tend to forget about their own well being, tend to forget about their people around them, their families. There are times when I have ignored my family, my friends, my colleagues to pursue the things I consider to be very important because they are associated with my mission in my life. So I think all of these things should be balanced. You should not forget about the financial and material aspect of life, pursuing your mission also. A good leader, a good person, a good human being should be a person who could balance all of these things together.
So this January 2021, uh, without a doubt, has been close 2020, which was definitely one of the toughest times anybody's ever seen, yours more so. But having said that, it's been 2 years since you attended SEALA 6 in Vietnam. But I heard on the chatter on our WhatsApp groups that they all rallied around you yesterday to offer you emotional support, friendship. How did that come about, and how did it make you feel?
Well, SEALA 6 was an important milestone in my life because it made me think, especially Michael Cooley's session hit me very hard. It made me think about the things I need to change in my life, and I did make those changes. But the most important thing was the people I found there, the friendships I made for life, especially my learning group. Yesterday, my learning group came together and they called me after reading all of this, and it keeps me going. They asked me to reach to SIBF people and SEALA people and be more open about it. And I think Irene told me that she have written an email to some people in SEALA and SIBF. Adib told me that he is going to go to some hospitals in France with the help of his brother. So the support, the emotional support, the moral support, and only knowing that they are there helps you a lot going through tough times. Is a huge help.
How about your own family? What's changed in the last 2 weeks?
Well, I didn't know that a 3-year old girl could be so sensitive that she could sense that her father cannot see for 2 days. I felt that she was terrified, and I realized that how important I am for them, as well as they are important for me. So I have to be there for them. I have to take care of them, and they took care of me very well. So I think there are a lot of things which are going to change.
When you say a lot of things are going to change, can you elaborate on that?
First thing is my availability when they need me, or even they don't ask for it. I've ignored a lot of needs of my family in pursuit of my mission, both materially and uh, as a father and as a husband. I need to be there for them.
And yourself? What about for yourself?
I've never taken care of my health. I've always taken care of my mind. I've never taken good care of my body.
Another over intellectualized gentleman discovers he has physical needs as well and a body.
Yeah, I think so.
It's something that often happens when you hear an inspirational speaker. The typical thing is it's a CEO who's very high powered, very ambitious and successful, who then midway through her career has a medical problem, which stops them in their tracks. And they realize they have to rethink everything. And then afterwards they come out of it a little bit different, maybe go on a trek to the North Pole, maybe do some more social work. But it is quite a common theme amongst high flyers who, a little bit like yourself, have neglected the social and in some sense the physical aspects of their lives in the interest of their mission. One thing that SEALA does is it sort of simulates a crisis and makes people rethink, in some cases, their priorities, their goals, and their life trajectory, however, without making them sick. So if you think about this experience again, and I hope you have more wisdom as time goes on, but after 2 weeks, what are the positive aspects that you see of this experience so far?
One thing is that I realized how blessed I am in terms of people around me, in terms of things God has granted me. So one thing I realized is that. The other thing is that I came to know that uh, I can be positive. And uh, the third thing is uh, I could see the world from a different perspective. I was fortunate enough to be one of those people who could see the world from that angle. And I know that there are things in the world that needs to be changed. I've been contacted by people who need my help in this area too. At least four people who have directly contacted me, and they want to be connected with good doctors, and they are going through the same conditions. So I need to think about making an awareness campaign or something like that for the same thing I've gone through, because there is a lack of awareness. People don't know it until it's too late.
Well, in a sense, the essay that you wrote and circulated is your first step in an awareness campaign.
Yeah, it was. That's why I've been contacted with people by the people. So I need to keep doing that, I think.
So, Haris, you mentioned a serenity prayer, and whereas all of us have heard of serenity prayers, and maybe some of us have serenity prayers of our own, would you like to share your serenity prayer with us?
Well, this is a prayers I often mention in my training programs when we are talking about stress, and but I didn't know that it's so deeply internalized in me. I only realized after I I went through all of this and I could not see, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor tried consoling me by saying that I know what you're going through, and I hope you would be strong. And I pray to God that, oh God, uh, please give me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and grant me courage to change the things which I can, and give me the wisdom to differentiate between two. It's a beautiful prayers, and it's I realize that it's so deeply internalized and ingrained in my mind that it came to me right away when I was awake.
What I understand from your serenity prayer, which I thank you for sharing with us, is that it sank in, the depth of it, the beauty of it, when you actually went through an ordeal that made you recognize the nuances in those few words that string together in a prayer that we would just ramble off. So I can only tell you one thing, that this conversation with you has had a very profound effect on me. So I'm hoping that when our listeners, which are not limited to SEALA members, also listen to your rendition of your experience, they are also touched and go away having learned something from your experience. Well, I can only wish you the best of luck, and all my prayers for not only
Thank you, Ayesha.
regaining your health, but also that it opens up new possibilities for you.
The Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference.